What is up, pal fam, and welcome to the Game 4 of the Women's World Chess Championship post-game analysis between the world champion Ju Wenjun and the challenger Tan Zhongyi. My name is Paul Emanuel Baradas, aka Paul Pao, and yesterday it took them over a couple of hours, I would say, for Ju Wenjun to equalize the series to 1.5 to 1.5. But this time, we're gonna find out how did this match goes on and on. And I'm kind of bit of a delayed for right now because earlier while the match was ongoing I had uh, to watch the commencement exercise of my old school. So yep, congratulations to all my old schoolmates in there and a job well done. Alright, we're wasting time for it. Let's take a look at the match between Tan Zhongyi playing as white and Ju Wenjun playing as black. So it begins with c4, e6, knight c3, bishop to b4, alright, and queen b3, that's an early exposement of the queen. And then bishop a5, g3, c5, bishop g2, knight to c6, e3, knight ge7, knight ge2, castles, a6, d4, and then they takes d5, takes bishop e3, and then they takes it, and then knight a5, queen to b4, knight ac6. I think it was like to defend this and then protecting this as well, because maybe there's a threat of here, or maybe goes to this square right over here. And there's also a threat that chess-based software may say it's right around right there. Well, queen c5 was the move, and then b6 attacking the queen, and then queen to a3 going back. Yeah, because of this, let's erase everything. Queen to c5 just pushes the pawn and then goes back to queen a3. But if I go queen a3 immediately, I think this pawn won't move unless if Ju Wenjun does so. But instead it was actually queen c5 b6 and then queen e3, and then bishop to e6, rook to ac1, knight f5, bishop to f4, and then it takes. Wait, this moves my chair around it. I can go for knight to e2, and possibly knight to a5 could be the move, because I think it's gonna refuse to take this one. But knight to e2, so that attacks the knight on a6, and there are possible choices. Of course, it's gonna be attacked, so probably she can go back to knight e7 or rook to c8, or maybe she can now start seeing the rooks go for each other, so probably queen to d7 right over there, around something like that, to defend the knight on c6. Alternatively, she can actually go bishop to d7 as well. But it still depends after all. Alright, back to bishop f4. And then, so, of course, knight f takes d4, that's a free pawn. Rook to fd1, knight to b5, takes queen b3. And now there's like a double pawn right here, and this knight is in danger. Well, with that knight to e7, there goes queen takes b5. But what was the point of knight to a7? Let's take a look. I think if I go rook to c7, queen to f6, I should take this? No. Knight to a7. Oh, there's no choice. Okay. And then queen f6. Alright, so back to knight a7 on this variation. So this leaves Ju Wenjun, with no choice, either has to give up this or this. So knight to e7, and then queen takes b5, of course. Queen takes a2, bishop c7, queen a8, bishop d6, rook to a5, queen to b4. Now they're putting more tension all over here, all over in this diagonal from a3 to f8, which seems interesting as it is. Rook to a4, queen to b3. Alright, because of course if she goes on here and then she takes it and takes this one, goes to lose the queen, and that's not good. Back to queen b3, rook to a7 was the next move, rook c7, and then they take it, queen c6, and then queen takes b6. Well, they already left with no choice, but if on queen b3, I think, I don't know, what, is this pawn like about to be gone? Because all of those moves, some say it's bad in here, it's bad in here, it's bad in here, it's bad in here, it's either also bad in there, around here. Everything is bad, even for this rook cannot, it says it's bad. This one is already bad. And if I go knight to c8, it's also bad. Nothing is right to defend the pawn. Only rook to a7. So rook c7, takes, queen c6, queen takes, and then queen c2. And then bishop f3, defending the rook. So bishop f5 continues the game. Bishop f4, bishop e4, threatening to take this bishop on the f3 away, but Tan Zhongyi made a switch and so, which means an in-between move for rook to c1 and then queen to e3. More pieces attacking the bishop on f3, but exchange it, and then queen to e3, and then takes it. Alright, so I believe as we're approaching endgame, this is a problem, I suppose. And there's also a problem, I suppose, for Ju Wenjun, Tan Zhongyi. And then let's go back. f6, rook c7, knight f5, bishop c5, rook d8, king f1, knight to d6, b4, alright, starting to march up. Knight to e4, bishop b6, rook to b8, bishop a5, rook to b5. So I bet this is now an outpost around here, which them defending each other. Alright. King e2, knight to d6, rook to a7, knight to c4. So everything's attacking here with these pieces defending. Alright. And then king d3, knight check, king c2, d4, king b3, rook to d5, bishop b6, d3, rook to a1, knight f3, rook to d1, king f7, and king goes on c3, d2. If I can go on here, I bet this is a bad idea. I suppose, because there's no choice. If he takes this one, take this one back. Take this one back and loses around here somewhere. Okay, I get it. And maybe this is a winning move for Tan Zhongyi, but d2 was the move instead, which is, I think it's a good one. But then there's bishop e3 and then king d6. They left with no choice. So wait a second, I am a bit confused. Is this pawn on d3 in danger? I mean, she can just like take this one for free, but she pushes the pawn first, and then bishop to e3, king d6, and then they take it. But of course, there's knight takes h2. Well, yeah. So we're just a few moves away, but it still has many of it. Alright, rook to e1, king d7, bishop e3, knight g4, bishop c5, knight e5, rook to a1, king to e6, f4, knight d7. Alright, I hear noises. Rook to e1, king f5, king c4, rook to d2, rook e7, knight takes, b takes, g5, f takes, rook takes h7, and this is a pass pawn situation for Tan Zhongyi. If not done in the correct way, this would be a decisive game. But let's find out. Rook c2, king d4, rook d2, king c4. Ooh, it's threatening for a threefold repetition. Alright. And then rook c3 pushes the pawn. Ooh. Well, there's nothing it can do. Even though if I go rook h3, it's gonna push the pawn. Even though it's gonna put check, I believe she can just go here. And if even I go rook to g5, she takes the rook on g3 first, and I cannot take it because I'm gonna lose the rook. That's the problem. So, I mean, it's already, yeah. This pawn is already trapped, like, I suppose. So yeah, she just moves, Tan Zhongyi moves, pushes the pawn like it was nothing and just takes the, and Ju Wenjun takes the rook immediately, and then c7, rook c3. Alright, king b6, king f4, rook f7, king e4, rook g7, king f4, rook g6, and then he takes it, rook takes c7. If I would have been me, I believe it would be winning for Tan Zhongyi, but the problem, this pawn is about to promote in 4 squares, and if not done correctly, it might be a donezo for Tan Zhongyi for this game. But let's find out. g4, king d6, g3, king d5, king f3, king d4, g2, king d3, king f2, rook f6, king e1, rook g6, king f2, and just takes the pawn anyway, and king takes g2, and that is Pow Fam, a draw by insufficient material, because it's impossible to basically checkmate the opponent with just a king. So yep, the game ends in a draw by insufficient material after 80 moves and around like 5 hours again. And that means the series is tied to a piece. Yep, no player from both sides just refuses to give up the position and just keeps on fighting until the very end. Well, since tomorrow is a rest day, I can get to rest to commentate this post-game analysis of the Women's World Chess Championship. And that should be it for me on this game number 4. We're just only had like two games away in Shanghai before we move on to Chongqing for the last 6 games. Alright, that should be it for today in this Women's World Chess Championship. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and follow on Facebook for more of the World Chess Championship, the Women's World Chess Championship rather, analysis, post-game analysis from your Paul Pow. And for more Squared 45 fun, follow me on Twitch, X, Instagram, and Threads. But that's it for me. This has been Paul Emmanuel Baradas, aka Paul Pow, Arena FIDE Master, and 6-time Wheeler of the Week, saying goodbye for now, and we'll see you on Wednesday for Women's World Chess Championship, where only one will reign.